Winston Churchill once said, "Armed with a paint box, one cannot be bored, one cannot be left at a loose end." I'm going to show you some exciting techniques that will keep you inspired and enhance your future work. We've sketched it from life, but I've decided I'm going to change the season of the cottage window into a summer so that it will incorporate more of the techniques that I need to show you. You can see here that I've put the salt into a green wash. I've done this first because it takes such a long time to dry, and now I'm going to take the colour from the tip, which I've already shown you in the demonstration beforehand, and I'm going to wash this over the cottage thatch, and then going to draw straight into that. So we put this colour, so I've got yellow ochre and grey washed down here, in there, and draw the line of the thatch right down, following the structure of the thatch, and then I can do some lines and the crisscross pattern. I've completed the other side of the window using the same techniques, and now I'm going to put the shadow in under the bit of thatch here, just to make it look a little bit more solid. So this is a blue and a brown taken from the tip of the brush, and likewise underneath here. So you get that lovely rounded feel of a big fat thatch. And then I can draw in there and get a bit more of the kind of straw effect. And underneath here as well. Now the next thing is we need to do the brickwork, and I need to get some water onto the page and a sharp knife with some coloured pencils. So I'm going to block in my bricks with little pads of water, and you remember that the pigment stays on the wet pads. So a sharp knife, and get that pigment quite strong over the water area. And perhaps two colours, a crimson and a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of brown perhaps. Here we are. Got to work fast with this. So we've exposed the white paper, and now we need to draw straight back into it with a pale grey to give you a nice mortar feeling. I've just put a little bit more pigment with a knife onto the surface of wetted bricks, and now I'm going to blow it all off and then working back into the mortar area, define the bricks a little bit better than I have done before. With a dark brown, drawing in more individual ones around the edges to give them a little bit more structure. Now I feel that we need to get on with the windows and block these in quite quickly so that we've got a bit more structure to the whole scene. And this goes behind the greenery, blue and a little bit of grey perhaps, in through quickly into there, take the bit of brightness off, and then draw with the brown over the surface so that you've got some of the panes of glass in there. This is the icing on the cake, putting in the roses. Now I've dipped my pencil into the water and I'm doing some little swirls, which is the heart of the rose, just like I did in the demonstration, and another one here. so that this becomes indelible. Another little piece of water, and perhaps another one here, another one here. And then I wash over with some water in a brush. Just let it gently run out so that the pink goes all diffused. Now for the last little bit of this, I'm going to put some blue into the sky, nice wishy-washy sky, and some blue bits of shadow under the window. Here we are. I'm going to also use the same pencil to just give a little bit more detail into some of the crevices of the window and the windowsill. And then the same blue underneath the foliage. Now, last little bit, the stalks. And these are meandering through behind some of the foliage, connecting up the leaves and the flower heads. Well, I'm really pleased with the effects that we've got here. They seem to be quite quick and simple, and yet when you look into them, they look as though we spent ages with the details. Right, I just go over the whole of the picture and let's recap what we've just done. Now here on the roof, we've done the drawing into a wet wash. So we've got a little bit of a painting with a drawing into it. We've splintered dry pigment onto the brickwork and made it look mottled and quite convincing. Then we've put salt into the greenery, which has given it a nice foliage look. And lastly, we've dipped the red that made the heart of the roses indelible, so we could just gently wash out and tease out the gentle washes that make the petals.